Hi there, this is my Nintendo Data Analysis Project recommendation. Um, and to just give some context, Nintendo's been in the game console business since 1985 with the release of the NES. In the US before that, they had the Famicom. That basically just was the NES, and that was in Japan. Anyways, this long history of consoles spanning from the 80s to now, most recently with the Switch, as you see on your screen here, is hoping to get a new chapter soon. Nintendo has teased the Switch 2. They have said before in their most recent presentations, which they do on every few months or so, they call them Nintendo Directs. They live streams on YouTube of these presentations that they do. They said that that one was going to be the last one around the Switch 1, and they've announced that the Switch 2, or as they say, the sequel to the Nintendo Switch, will be announced within the next fiscal year. And when they announce that, that means their fiscal year ends in March, so that means by next March it will be announced. And so this day announcement presentation is kind of about the goal is to have this project recommendation to gather data on how to roll out the release of the sequel to Nintendo Switch, kind of what data should we be looking at in terms of how should we market it, what release date should we be at, maybe even what price we should be at, and that kind of thing. And so, just some flyover stuff here, like the target market, kind of put it simply here, gamers, just people that are already invested in gaming, right? The Nintendo Switch does appeal to everyone, but because it already exists, it could be like a cheaper alternative, because with the Switch 2 coming out, they could drop the price point of the original Switch down to from 300 is what usually is. Sometimes you get bundles for a little bit less than that, but 300 to 200, and then that becomes kind of like a budget system for everyone, young kids, so that their parents kind of give it to them, like how maybe you did with like a DS or Game Boy back in the day. So with those products already existing, we kind of have somewhat of the every person product. So the Switch 2 coming out, maybe somewhere around a 303 to 350 price point, could be more so just like a console designed for people that were already fans of the Switch 1, to just want more Nintendo, more Switch, just want a more powerful, better system. So it's kind of the main goal is to recapitulate the previous market of Nintendo Switch 1, which was Nintendo's most selling console of all time. Well, home console. DS sold a little bit more at like 150 million is what the DS sold, but the Switch has sold over 140 million. One of the best-selling game consoles of all time. Might end up being the best. Still has one more holiday season to maybe get a few more million units in there to creep its way up the top. And so sticking to the gamer market here, that's kind of just the design space, right, and just age demographic here. Not necessarily gender specific. Boys and girls play games, obviously. But we're kind of looking for 14 to 39 years old, maybe slightly older than like 18 to 39. Because Switch came out, the Switch 1 came out in 2017, and so a lot of those people that maybe were kids then probably are a bit older now, so it's all just encapsulating the fans of the Switch 1. So when we roll out the Nintendo Switch 2, and we get a lot of that carryover of some of these more older people, and obviously get parents buying it for their kids and stuff. So that's kind of the target age demographic. But it's not exclusive to that. Nintendo's kind of has always marketed itself to be a for all ages company, so kind of Disney-like in that way. And their main two competitors, you know them and you love them, PlayStation and Xbox, Sony and Microsoft respectively. Those are the main two competitors in the gaming space right now. The only other ones would be that really compete would maybe be VR stuff. Meta has a VR. There's like Oculus and all that. But really, in terms of home console, what you think of when you think of console gaming, Those are really the only two competitors right now. In the past, there's been like Sega and stuff, but right now it's just those two. So internal metrics we should be looking at. One is just how many prices, how many units has the Switch 1 sold, and just projecting that to when the Switch 2 comes out, like how many is that selling, and we'll kind of measure the Switch 2 on a yearly basis and kind of compare that to the Switch 1 and kind of just have a cumulative result of the total sales. And just the goal is to have very similar sales Switch 1 because it was so successful. So if we can match the sales of that and potentially have maybe a better year one than Switch 1 did, then that would be good. And then YouTube channel is another internal metric, 9.6 million subscribers. Just kind of the reason why this is here is just gauge total popularity and look at like view numbers on videos as well, because subs can correlate to views. And so when Nintendo announces videos on YouTube for their Switch platform, we can kind of look at that and use that to measure kind of how engaged people are with Nintendo stuff. And then Instagram followers, kind of the same thing. So competitive intelligence. So Nintendo does Nintendo Directs on YouTube to announce their stuff. And so one source of competitive intelligence would be the Sony State of Play, which is a very similar type of video announcement. And so we can use that to kind of see what they're up to, what kind of games they're making, what kind of moves they're making, price points on their new products, that kind of thing. So we track the YouTube viewership of that. We can track their console sales of PlayStation, Xbox, to see if they're doing better than us, why they're doing better than us, which consoles are doing better, which features are selling more. And then we can also gain information. Another source of competitive intelligence would be getting information on future products that Sony PlayStation might do. And there's Game Awards, PAX East, a lot of gaming conventions and that kind of thing. And the difference between competitive intelligence and espionage, by the way, is that espionage is illegal, so keeping it illegal is all good. Looking at a graph here, a projected market share, if we go with some of my recommendations here, I think we could bump Nintendo's market share up from where it's at right now, where it is a little below 40 to maybe closer to 45. Kind of take some of Sony's market share. And projected sales here. Here's the Switch 1 sales. I think the Switch 2 sales could have a much better start because we already have the foundation of the Switch 1. And then maybe we'll kind of total off to be similar. But I think we have definitely a stronger start in year one. So to conclude here, this information, this recommendation for a data analysis project is for, I named the executive here, but the position is the Vice President of Sales, Marketing, and Communications at Nintendo. And I hope that this information, this project recommendation could be used so that we can look at the past of Switch 1, look at our competitors, use all that data to see what worked, what works, and use that to correlate that success from the past into the present so that the Switch 2 can have the same amount of sales and relevance as the Switch 1. Thanks for watching.